our saving is getting converting into investment, वही investment fund में convert हो रहा है.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So whatever we will save today, that will get invested tomorrow and get converted into the stock of capital.
मैम बट हमने ये सेविंग कंपोनेंट कैपिटल उसमें क्यों नहीं लिया था?
कैपिटल उसमें हमने क्यों नहीं, उसमें हमने अल्टीमेटली हम यहीं तो पहुंच गए. यहाँ पे हमने डायरेक्ट लिया था कि स्टॉक फ्यूचर में स्टॉक कितना होगा, दैट विल बी इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लस एक्यूमुलेटेड स्टॉक ऑफ कैपिटल. तो इन्वेस्टमेंट इज इक्वल टू सेविंग. ये हम फर्म के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कर रहे थे, ये अब हम पर्सन या लेबर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कर रहे हैं.
ओके मैम.
राइट. सो लेबर के पॉइंट ऑफ, लेबर अर्न्स द इनकम. जो फर्म है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट करती है और लेबर जो है वो इनकम अर्न करता है. सो व्हाटएवर इनकम ही इज अर्निंग, he is converting this income into consumption and saving. consumption और saving में convert कर रहा है. whatever he is saving, it will get converted into investment. ये investment में convert हो रहा है. so in the current time period, if KT is the stock of the capital, then in the future time period the stock of capital will be KT plus 1, which IT plus accumulated stock of capital, जो ये हमारा accumulated stock of capital. is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, suppose right now this particular person is working for ON0 hours and producing output equal to Y0, which is his income. जितना वो produce कर रहा है, जितनी उसकी output वो produce कर रहा है, suppose this is his income. ये उसकी income है. So if he is producing, he is working for ON0 hours, that means he is generating the income equal to OY0. OY0 income जो है वो generate कर रहा है. Now because of the technological advancement, क्योंकि technological advancement हुआ है, because of that, now the productivity of this labor will increase. जो productivity है इस person की, marginal productivity है, that will increase. Because of that, now with the same working hours, he can earn or produce more. So production will increase from OY0 to OY1. So जो output है, that has increased from OY0 to OY1 because there is increase in the productivity of the labor की जो productivity है वो increase हो गई. because of that the output which is produced by the labor has increased from OY0 to OY1. higher the marginal productivity of the labor, higher the income this labor will earn. higher income जो है ये labor earn करेगा. when the higher income is earned by this labor and because of the higher marginal productivity, जो वो work leisure का equilibrium था, that will get changed. वो change होगा because now for a particular given period of time, labor has a marginal productivity. because of higher marginal productivity, labor will increase its working hours. जो labor है वो अपने working hours जो है वो increase कर देगा. so because of that, now the working hours will increase from ON0 to ON1. this is the first effect on the supply of labor. because work leisure का जब हम equilibrium करते हैं तो हम ये करते हैं कि कितनी इनकम जो है पर्सन अर्न करेगा जब वो पर आवर काम कर रहा है. if per hour income is higher, then he will work for more hours and will enjoy less leisure. less leisure जो है वो enjoy करेगा. so in that case, now the marginal productivity of labor is higher. because of that, his per hour earning has increased. due to this, he will work for more hours and reduce the leisure hours. अपने leisure hours को जो है reduce कर देगा. so his working hours, his supply of labor will now increase from ON0 to ON1. so due to this, now in the next time period, because of the technological advancement, marginal productivity of labor has increased. because of the increase in marginal productivity of labor, the supply of labor hours will increase from ON0 to ON1. because of that, output will increase from OY1 to OY2. जो output है वो next time period में OY2 हो गई. so now the income of the labor has increased because of the increase in the income, consumption and saving. Now in the next time period, suppose in the initial time period income was y0, now the income is equal to y2. Because of the increase in income, consumption will also increase and saving will also increase. Because we have studied, whenever there is increase in income, there is increase in consumption, there is increase in saving. So effect of increased income will be on increased consumption and increased saving. When the savings will increase, then investment will also increase. Savings increase hongi, and because the economy to be in equilibrium, with the increase in saving, there will be increase in investment. If there is increase in investment, there will be increase in capital stock. Capital stock bhi jo increase hoga, and the economy will move in the upward direction in this manner. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So this is the effect of the technological shock on the labor market, and through the labor market, ultimately there is effect on the output, there is effect on the investment, and there is effect on the level of employment. Right? So this was real business cycle, and real business cycle says that because of these shocks, real shocks, which affects the supply side, there is change in the economy, either in upward direction or in downward direction, depends what type of a shock gets generated in the economy. Is that clear? So ये हमारा था real business cycle theory. रियल बिजनेस साइकिल थ्योरी में अगर हम देखें कि व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज, मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसीज का क्या रोल है. सो फर्स्ट इफ वी लुक एट द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, अगर हम मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को देखें, देन एक चीज याद रखो, रियल बिजनेस साइकिल थ्योरी कहती है कि एग्रीगेट डिमांड से कोई इफेक्ट नहीं आ रहा. It is from the effect जो है that ultimately get generated from the supply side से generate हो रहा है. So if we look at the monetary policy, then according to real business cycle theory, monetary policy or the change in the money supply or the monetary factors does not have any effect on the output and employment. Output और employment पे उसका कोई effect नहीं होता है, right? Because the growth of the money supply in the economy only determines the level of monetary prices and monetary wages in the economy. Monetary prices or monetary wages को determine करती हैं, right? But they does not, this supply of money does not have any effect on the employment and output in the economy. That is why this real business cycle model says that monetary policy cannot affect the output and employment. And even if it could, अगर ये मान भी लिया जाए कि ये इफेक्ट करती है, then it would be suboptimal to in order to eliminate the business cycles which is basically get generated by supply side factors. So it is insignificant. ये insignificant है. ये cycle जो real business cycle generate होती है, monetary policy cannot control that. Monetary policy is not strong enough to control the or to eliminate the cyclical fluctuations in the economy. So monetary policy जो है या जो monetary factors हैं, they cannot be treated as a counter cyclical policy. इनको हम counter cyclical policy या counter cyclical factors की तरह consider नहीं कर सकते, right?
मैम आपने ये क्या बोला था कि अगर वो वर्क करती है तो भी क्या होगा?
तो वो इतनी इनसिग्निफिकेंट है कि वो बिजनेस साइकिल जो रियल बिजनेस साइकिल है, जो साइक्लिकल फ्लक्चुएशंस है, उनको एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकती. दैट मींस मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कैन नॉट सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ रिसेशन और डिप्रेशन एंड कैन नॉट कंट्रोल द एक्सपेंशंस एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस इन द इकोनॉमी.
ओके मैम.
राइट, सो इट इज इनसिग्निफिकेंट. उसको ये सब ऑप्टिमल या इसको इनसिग्निफिकेंट कंसीडर किया है मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को. Right? Now, as far as the role of fiscal policy is concerned, the fiscal policy actions will affect the output and employment in a real business cycle model, but the effect will not be from the side of a aggregate demand. जैसे केन्स क्या कहता है कि अगर फिस्कल पॉलिसी में आप गवर्नमेंट जो है अपना एक्सपेंडिचर इंक्रीज करती है, बिकॉज ऑफ द इंक्रीज इन द इन्वेस्टमेंट बाय द गवर्नमेंट, देयर विल बी इंक्रीज इन द एग्रीगेट डिमांड, एंड ड्यू टू दैट the economy can come out of the recession or depression. This is what Keynesian view says. But this business cycle view says that fiscal policy action will affect the output and employment, but not from the aggregate demand side. That means they totally discard the effect of the aggregate demand, and they say that any change in the fiscal policy will work from the supply side. Supply side से work करेगा. Like for example, changes in the tax rate. अगर हम tax rate की बात करें, which is a component of the fiscal policy, if there is a changes in the tax rate on labor income or on profit, then it will affect the choices of the labor, it will affect the choices of the producers. ये producers की choices को कि कितना produce करना है, कितने factors of production employ करने हैं, कितना और labor की income पे अगर आप tax लगा रहे हो, then the choice of the labor, that how much time he should work to get the income, that will get affected by the tax. So whenever the real business cycle talks about the fiscal policy, they talk in sense of the effect of fiscal policy on the supply side factors. So if there is change in the tax rate, suppose if the economy is in recession, then the taxes should be reduced on the labor income so that the labor should get motivated to work more, because then his disposable income will be higher. The tax on the profit should be reduced so that the producers should get motivated to work more in order to produce more output, right? And then he says that if the government makes the use of the and the government uses these taxes to provide the needed government services like defense and all that. So basically ये कहते हैं कि जो fiscal policy है, it can have effect on the output and employment only if it is affecting the supply side factors. अगर ये supply side factors को affect कर रही है, right? And generally they say that if the जो ये tax structures हैं, these tax structure has a distorting effect on the economy. जो tax जो है government impose करती है या tax raise करती है, it has a distorting effect on the economy rather than increasing the taxes in order to fund the expenditure. Expenditure को fund करने के लिए the government can take the help of a deficit financing. That means monetary policy can be used in order to support the fiscal expenditure of the government. So, ये necessary expenditure है like defense services and all that, the government should make use of the monetary policy in order to fund these type of expenditure rather than distorting the tax structures. Tax structures को taxation को finance के लिए use करने की बजाय, because if you raise the taxes, अगर आप taxes को raise करोगे, it will have a distorting effect on the economy. इनके distorting effect होंगे economy, right? So this is the macroeconomic policies, the effect of macroeconomic policies according to the real business cycle model, right?
मैम बट ये सब्स्टिट्यूट मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को हम फिस्कल के लिए कैसे सब्स्टिट्यूट कर सकते हैं? दोनों के इफेक्ट्स तो डिफरेंट होते हैं.
मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को वो कह रहा है कि मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी जो है वो इनइफेक्टिव है इकोनॉमी में आउटपुट या एम्प्लॉयमेंट को करने के लिए, और जो टैक्सेस हैं गवर्नमेंट अपनी एक्सपेंडिचर को फाइनेंस करने के लिए जो लगाती है, वो डिस्टॉर्टिंग इफेक्ट जो है इकोनॉमी में क्रिएट करता है. क्योंकि अगर आप ज्यादा टैक्स लगाओगे तो जो लेबर इनकम है उस पर नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट होगा. जो प्रॉफिट पे अगर आप टैक्स लगाओगे तो प्रोड्यूसर्स का जो ऑप्टिमम कंडीशंस हैं वो चेंज हो जाएंगी, राइट? लेसर द प्रॉफिट, लेसर विल बी द इन्वेस्टमेंट, क्योंकि उस पर टैक्स ज्यादा लग रहा है. नाउ ड्यू टू दिस व्हाट दे सजेस्ट, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट को जो डिफेंस सर्विसेज है या लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की मेंटेनेंस जो करनी है, फॉर दैट गवर्नमेंट नीड्स फंड, गवर्नमेंट को फंड की जरूरत होती है. तो ही सेज दैट to get these funds, government can make use of the defense deficit financing. Deficit financing means creating extra money supply create करके. So monetary policy should be in coordination with the fiscal policy according to fund the expenditure of the government के expenditure को fund करने के लिए, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because according to real business cycle theory, जो monetary policy है वो directly output और employment को affect नहीं कर सकती है, और जो टैक्सेस हैं गवर्नमेंट कलेक्ट करती है वो डिस्टॉर्टिंग इफेक्ट जो क्रिएट करती है. गवर्नमेंट शुड वर्क ऑन मिनिमाइजिंग दिस डिस्टॉर्टिंग इफेक्ट. इस डिस्टॉर्टिंग इफेक्ट को मिनिमाइज करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट की जो नीडेड सर्विसेज है, रिक्वायर्ड सर्विसेज हैं, दोज कैन बी फंडेड थ्रू दी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. वो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी के थ्रू फंड की जा सकती है.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So this was real business cycle theory. So that's it.